Auntie Angie's House. I decided to start Auntie Angie's House after watching the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And in watching the overturning of Roe v. Wade, I noticed that a lot of our black leaders, black congressional members, or anybody that represents the black community basically have made it seem as though black women, can't survive without abortion, or that we have to have abortion, or that abortion is some form of reparations or something like that. Then we're also watching that we have a black maternal health crisis where they are saying, and this is verbatim on the whitehouse.gov, that black women are 3 times likely to die during childbirth compared to white women, regardless of their income or education. So to me, that statement was profound because I know that black women have been giving birth since the beginning of time. I also know that my grandmother gave birth to 10 children in a shed. These were my aunts and uncles. They were all healthy, and they were all born alive. So I'm under the impression that if black women are now suddenly dying 3 times likely compared to white women,
regardless of income
or education,
then
that means that someone is intentionally killing us. And I don't mind going on record saying that. And so Auntie Angie's House to me was a solution, because I'm like, okay, you're telling us we have a black maternal health crisis. Black women are scared. What are we doing about the black maternal health crisis? Abortion is not the solution to the black maternal health crisis. If the black mother is dying, giving birth to the baby, and the black baby is dying during the abortion process, then what black lives don't matter. So does black life matter or not? And that is what this is all about. We can't say that black life matters without understanding the origin of black life.
In your experience, how was your pregnancies?
Well, me, I had 5 natural births, but I was never told about the benefits of the placenta. And I think that there's a lot of black women that experience that. We've gone into the hospital, we've given birth to our babies. They never told us about, the benefits of the placenta, keeping the placenta, even asking us if we wanted the placenta. What did they do with the placenta? Like you say, your wife, many other women have been rushed into a C-section. Why? Because it's $30,000 more. And let's just think about it. Birth is natural, right? It's not a common thing that women are supposed to be getting cut in half to give birth to a baby. And there are also benefits for the baby coming down through the birth canal. So is it something more sinister happening? That's the question that we have. And that's why Auntie Angie's House is so important, because we need to get back to the natural ways of doing everything. The natural ways of birthing our children, the natural ways of creating our children, the natural ways of feeding our children, back to organic foods. We just need to get back to what's natural.
When should single women start dating again, and when should they introduce new men to their child?
Wow, I'm gonna say that's probably on a case-by-case basis. I don't know if there's a certain time. You know what I'm saying? I think that, of course, you do need to take time to get to know a person before you introduce them to their child. I think that that's important, but I would say that's probably something that needs to be determined on a case-by-case basis.
And the reason I brought it up was because a lot of abuse that takes place comes from this rotation of random people being around the child.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying, based on your facility, if you provided information in regards to a time frame, or, as you said, not necessarily a process, but I don't know how to say, a better understanding of the person before they come around the child.
Yes, that's very important. You want to make sure that you're protecting the atmosphere that your child is in. You want to make sure that you're protecting the energy. You want to make sure you're protecting the words that they're hearing. You want to make sure you're protecting what they're seeing. So I think that is very, very important. But for us in our facility, because we're dealing with pregnant women, the father is kind of, if he's not out of the picture, we kind of encourage him to be involved in the picture, because we're all about family reunification. We want to keep the family together. We don't want to pull them apart. The Negro Project was Margaret Sanger and a bunch of her buddies going around to all of the pastors in the black community, telling them that the best way to help us is to help us control our birth rate. Now, for us, we thought that it was some form of prize that a white woman came up with this great idea that we could save money or better our lives by controlling how many children that we have. And so they intentionally went to the black community, as we've seen so many times before, and targeted the black preachers to target their congregations with this notion of birth control. But in reality, for them, they wanted to get rid of the less desirables. The less desirables, of course, that was us. And I think Margaret Sanger was quoted as saying one day, the best way to get rid of a nigga is to kill him before he is born. So that was the Negro Project. It wasn't about birth control. It was about controlling our birth rate. They looked at us like roaches. You know, you get one roach, you try to hurry up and kill it before it have a bunch of babies. Yeah. So it was extermination.
All right. So with this whole abortion vibe, right? When people speak about abortion, like, I don't hear anyone speaking about more preventive care in regards to either just, I don't know the technical term for it, pulling out.
Pregnancy prevention.
Pregnancy prevention or using a
Right.
condom. You know, I think that needs to be more of the push in regards to just this abortion, because this is the issue I have in regards to people having kids right now. You have a lot of people who have no income, no shelter, no skill, right? And yes, if you want to improve yourself, please do, but improve yourself before the child comes, because you're
Right.
putting the child in a rough spot.
That's true.
And it's a high probability the child's going to grow up in an environment that's not conducive to them being balanced or being able to thrive in life.
Well, that's the excuse that they use to abort us. They say there's a chance that the child might not be great. But I know a whole lot of people that came from poverty, and we did what we had to do, and we made it. I'm one of them too. So that's definitely not the excuse that we want to use when we're determining who's allowed to live or who has to die. I think that what you said is so important. If we took all of this money that they're putting into abortion and put into pregnancy prevention, then there wouldn't be a need for abortion, because if we don't create the life, then we don't have to end the life. So the question is, like you said, why is it so much focus on abortion? Why so much money in abortion? Well, you have to think about it like this. I don't know anybody that has walked into an abortion clinic and walked out with the child's remains. If you're in a hospital and you have a miscarriage, they will give you the baby, they will give you the child's remains, tell you to go bury it in the backyard, have a funeral, do whatever. But if you go to an abortion clinic, you are never giving those child's remains. Now, that's a whole lot of brand new eyes, hearts, livers, okay? Listen, they talk about organ trafficking. I don't know. What are they doing with the babies? I don't know. And why is our government so focused on, during COVID, they gave Planned Parenthood $80 billion.
To do what?
To kill babies.
They gave them $80 billion.
$80 billion for abortion.
They gave $80 billion.
Lizzo gave Planned Parenthood $500,000. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, after COVID, you remember COVID? Everybody was locked down. Could nobody make no money. None of us could work our jobs. We were all ordering from Amazon. I'm talking about, they made so much money during COVID. Right after COVID, after they made all that money, she donated $250 million to Planned Parenthood because she wanted to help black women with reproductive rights. I'm sorry, Miss Mackenzie, but as a black woman, you're not being my friend by giving me money to kill my black children. If you want to help me, then let's give black women other resources. Let's focus on pregnancy prevention. Let's talk about a down payment on a home maybe for that single mother. Let's talk about some financial literacy so that mother can be in a position to take care of her children. Because if you think about our government when it comes to abortion, it's a whole lot easier to pay $400 to get rid of that black baby, right? Than to provide a lifetime of welfare in Section 8. And that's the way that they look at it. And I think the black community needs to wake up and understand that we can't cry in one voice saying, oh, we're an oppressed minority, but we're the first ones in line to abort our votes. We have to understand that there is strength in numbers. And once that life has been created, it don't matter if she 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 9 months. Once that life has been created, there is only one way to end it. Why is it that 70% of abortion clinics are in black communities. We don't have not one fertility clinic. See, we get abortion clinics, they get fertility clinics. We get abortion clinics, they get fertility clinics. And if you think about something else that you just said a little bit earlier on in the interview, we're talking about situations that children are born into where there's no income, they don't have anywhere to stay, they don't have any support. Well, that's the same thing going on at the border. But they don't got abortion clinics at the border. They're telling us as American women, specifically Black American women, we need to abort our children. But if you coming across the border with your baby, oh, come to the land of milk and honey, the great land of opportunity. We'll take care of you. Joe Biden even said, I'll give illegal immigrants coming across the border $400,000 a piece. Can you imagine if they were to go to that Black single mother living in the hood, not even $400,000, offer $4,000, because I know some Black women that can make something jump with $4,000. Offer her $40,000. You know why they'll never give us that? Because they know that we'll never need them again. Welfare reminds me of an old man I used to date. I was in a relationship with him for 11 years. He would never marry me, right? But whenever my bills were due, I would tell him he would give me just enough. He had a whole lot of money. He would give me just enough. Rent due, $1,200, he'd give me $1,200, not 1 cent over, because he knew that every month the rent was due, that I would have to come back to him. He wouldn't give me $100,000 and say, here, baby, bump that, go buy you a house and start you a business, because then he felt like I wouldn't need him. The government system is the same way when it comes to Black Americans. They'll never give us enough to get over and get up. It's only enough to make sure we continue to come back every 30 days so that we can remain slaves to their system.
And with the help for people from overseas, is this a diplomatic thing in the sense that I am helping people, but they're not helping the people that needs help? I seem they always play this game, bro, in regards to like they help everyone else, but the most oppressed within their society, they never help.
I can't understand it because you know, a lot of people wanted to make the term "Make America Great Again" a racist term or a term of racism, and to me, I was always like, well, I'm an American. I live in America. My children are here. My business is here. My home is here. We have Americans right here. And when I look at our government, I look at it like us, right? You're a parent. I'm a parent. So me, I'm the parent of my household. So when I go out and I make my money and I come back with my paycheck, my responsibility is to make sure the bills are paid in my house and to make sure that my children are fed. If I don't do that, then they'll come lock me up and say that I'm neglecting my children, right? So as a parent, I'm not saying that with the money I make that I won't help the children across the street or the children around the corner. I'm just saying that my job and my responsibility is to take care of my household. The government of America has a responsibility to take care of the American citizens. The tax dollars of the American citizens belong to the American citizen. So I'm not saying we don't help other people in need or other countries, but how can you help them without helping your own? We're looking right now up in New York, not too far from here because we're in Philly, where they are demanding that illegal immigrants that have crossed the border be placed in the Roosevelt Hotel. They're sleeping inside of police stations, and that's fine. But what about all of the homeless American citizens that we have? I've never seen them open up a hotel and demand that they place homeless Americans, let alone homeless Black Americans. I've never seen that. I've never seen one person in Congress make an announcement and say, open your doors to homeless people in America so they don't have to sleep on the streets. So when is America going to wake up? Make America great for you. How does everybody else come before us? And why are we as Black people always fighting somebody else's battle, but when it comes to us, we can't get no help? Everybody talking about, oh, Black and brown communities, Black and brown community. I haven't seen the brown communities fighting for the Black. Now, I'm just saying, Black people, handle your business, because ain't nobody at the border advocating for you.